Hello, buddy, this is Purge bringing you guys another replay commentary. This is going to be Razor. Razor game that I played, I think, almost a week ago now. He's a bit of a change hero slightly, and I wanted to talk about those changes, so let's naturally jump into the Dotabuff Black Hole section for probably 25 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Only moderately kidding. Razor as a hero was only slightly changed, actually, in this patch. His third skill was reworked. The way it used to work is it gave him bonus movement speed, and then if somebody would cast a single target spell on you, it would nuke them back and apply a Purge or a Dispel on them, which slowed them and dealt a little bit of damage. Now the way it works is with every 5 seconds, it will randomly zap an enemy 350 AoE away for 100 to 190 damage, and when they get hit by that, they are slowed for 0.5 to 2 seconds, and it's a 40% slow. So it's kind of like a way to debuff your opponents even if they can't cast spells on you, which is kind of better because some heroes didn't have abilities that would actually affect Razor in that way. And so basically it still allows you to debuff your opponents, but you have some control over it, and it also helps you farm just by having it naturally. It's a pretty good 1-point skill in that the damage is mostly leveled out. Like, you get most of the damage with 1 skill point. The slow doesn't last very long, and obviously the movement speed isn't as good, but it's kind of a cool change. His perks also got changed. At level 10, you have an agility perk. You've also got a health perk. You've got unstable current movement speed, more static link damage steal, 10 armor, Eye of the Storm strike interval. This for your ulti. And then this is the one that lowers his new passive down to a 2-second cooldown. So basically you can permanently slow somebody if there's only one person within an AoE of you, or you can get 100 attack speed, which actually benefits the hero a lot. So let's actually go over the basics of the hero now that you know the changes. His agility gain is awful, even though he's an agi hero. Well, that's 1.8, it's pretty bad. Int gain is bad, and his strength gain is quite good. Base movement speed is weak, but he does get faster because of the whole change to movement speed. Keep in mind that this 15 agility, it ends up giving you about 0.9% movement speed, so almost 1% movement speed increase. Oops, don't want to show you just that. Skill build wise, you usually max a mix of Plasma Field as well as Static Link, just because this lets you push waves and farm a little bit faster, do a lot of damage to opponents, whereas Static Link helps you lane better against somebody, stealing their damage, and then right-clicking them for bonus damage. The Unstable Current is pretty fun to play with, I must say. It definitely helps you farm. It's a little bit rough in lane sometimes because it'll zap the thing you don't expect to, and you miss a last hit. But as a whole, the hero's not really very changed. Item-wise, I think he's more variable, though, and that's what's pretty cool. You can go a mix of tanky stuff. You can get agility if you really want. I played against a guy that played Razor, and he went like all agility items. He basically went phase with Aquila and Drum and SNY. He was really fast. He got the agility perk. He was just really fast all game. The game that I played, I preferred instead to go for more tankiness stuff. But you'll see why when I get to that moment. So basically, phase boots or treads, those are your two options. Phase boots, obviously, you hit harder, and you can chase really fast. With treads, you're tankier, you attack faster. So technically, treads makes better use of static link damage. But if you have phase, you can chase for longer with the static link to gain more damage. So it's kind of a trade-off between what you want. But generally, when you're playing Razor, you want items that keep you alive longer, because this item or this skill will help you sap damage to eventually deal more damage, but it takes time. Takes a duration of, what, 10 seconds or something like that? It's 8 seconds, sorry. So 8 seconds to get full damage from Static Link. You want to stand people for a long period of time with Unstable Current to let that do more and more damage. Your ultimate does physical damage and reduces armor per hit, so that will build up over time as well. So basically, you want to stand your people and continue fighting while staying alive. So to do that, you need movement speed, and you need tankiness, and just raw agility is pretty good. Sometimes magic immunity is core as well, but a lot of these items are pretty good. Eggs, I think, is probably very good right now and worth buying because of the change to Eye of the Storm in the previous patch that basically everybody ignored. That if you're static linking somebody and you have Eye of the Storm going, Eye of the Storm will prioritize that target. In the past, it would always target whoever's the lowest on HP, which is often creeps, but now it prioritizes whoever you link to. So Eye of the Storm is a lot better now than it used to be. Maybe worth actually picking up all the way. And in fact, if you get the level 20 perk, it lowers it by 0.1, and then if you buy an Ags, it lowers it by another 0.1. So basically your level 3 ult would go from a 0.5 strike interval to a 0.3, which is insanely fast. That might be really overpowered. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I should. Okay, yeah, Blade Mail, Boots of Travel, all this stuff kind of makes sense depending on what you need to do. Hurricane Pike, I can see being alright. Alright, here's your bet against. Ursa does more and more damage the longer he hits you, so basically even if you sap his damage, that doesn't make Razor good against him. Omni Knight is good at keeping people alive in swings. Can also repel somebody so that you can't deal damage to them while you're chasing them, but you can still static link people So I'm not really sure why Omni Knight has such a big win rate. That one's a little bit mystifying to me. Lifestealer does a lot of damage to high HP targets. He can also rage. I'm sorry, this is best versus, excuse me. Okay, this makes more sense now. Okay, so you're actually good against Ursa. I'm a little surprised on this, but it's probably because you can static link him. In fact, this skill's probably really good against Ursa right now, because his ultimate can be dispelled, if I'm not mistaken. Cannot be dispelled. Okay, JK. But this is a hero that needs to chase you, and if you're playing Razor, you should be pretty fast. And if you hit him with your passive, he's slowed, which means that he's less capable to chase you. And if you sap all of his damage, then he does do additive damage. It does stack up. But if you can basically static link him and chase him for a bit, it'll take a long time before he actually deals damage to you, because you can sap up to like 200 damage. So I guess that makes sense. Omni Knight, he can't out-heal the amount of damage that Razor outputs, basically. And even though like Repel and Guardian Angel are probably potentially good, you can still sap the damage of whoever he repels, and it doesn't matter. So they don't really care. Lifestealer, same thing. You sap his damage while he tries to kite. So all the heroes that kind of are screwed by kiting have trouble against Razor, essentially, is what it looks like. Visage needs to do damage, but he probably just kills the bats and stuff like that. A lot of these heroes are just kind of weak to like getting their damage sapped. And they kind of have some single target damage options, with the exception of Lifestealer and Ursa. So kind of interesting. I feel like some of these numbers might not reflect the new changes though. So it's possible these are slightly wrong. Here's your bad against Leshrac, just does a crap load of damage to you, and he doesn't care if his damage is sapped. Sniper does a lot of magic damage, so that kind of makes sense. And Razor doesn't have that much AoE, so you're going to have trouble dealing with like AoE heroes like PL and Chaos Knight. Making sense. Witch Doctor can maledict you, which basically means that you die, even though you're tanky. Venomancer does stupid amounts of damage. A lot of these heroes make a lot of sense. In terms of the talents, looks like the agility one has a huge win rate, which makes sense because it is 1% movement speed, 15 damage, 15 attack speed, and almost 3 armor. I think I went the health this game, which I don't feel like I regret, but considering I forgot that his agility gain was so bad, so I kind of feel like it's worth getting the 15 agility now. This one I was a little surprised about, but 4% movement speed is kind of a lot, because basically any movement speed items you buy, this magnifies that, so it kind of pays off harder and harder. But static link damage steal can be really valuable too. It's basically an extra skill point. Just one extra skill point. 10 armor at 20, or the Eye of the Storm interval. I was surprised to see this percentage change. I grabbed armor every time that I played him. And then attack speed is very good, but also lowering the unstable current interval can be really good. So heroes that you counter are basically heroes that do not want to get dispelled. I played Lone Druid against Razor, and it really sucked because unstable current would hit very often, and if my bear was the only thing there, it would be dispelled, and he would lose Rabbit almost instantly. So I'd say Razor probably has a pretty good win rate against Lone Druid as well. But maybe the numbers just haven't reflected that just yet. Razor. We have a 45% win rate at 5k and above, which is not too surprising. He's kind of like a lane winner, but it's hard for him to win games. So I think there's a place for Razor, but he doesn't have favorable numbers in overall pubs. That's Ursa. We don't care about that, and this is the patch change. What about me? Boop. And then we'll see if you will work for me. Microsoft Edge. Of course not. Of course not. God. Like one by one find it. I don't know why Control F doesn't work on this page, guys. I feel like I just saw it. There it is. I have actually a super high win rate. Holy crap. 63.41%. I do feel like heroes like this kind of fit my playstyle though, and my playstyle being run at my opponents and do something stupid, and then they I don't know, they die or something. So I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me that I've got a good win rate on the hero. So this is the game. This game was the first game I played him. I played him another game later than this, but it did not go well. I was laning. What was I laning against? What was it? I don't really remember, actually. Oh, it was an Invoker. So, against an Invoker, I kind of had trouble stealing his damage because he's a ranged hero. I kind of focused a lot on bottling. I went like 4-4-0-0, I think, but I think that was probably a mistake. I think Eye of the Storm's probably worth getting early. The damage this does is pretty good. I've never actually calculated before, so I'm going to do it really quick while we wait for the match to start. Or you're 1.5 speed. Good. That's like where you can still kind of manage watching things. So because of this fight, I felt worth grabbing Static Link level 1 here. Unfortunately, this rock thing kind of made me feel like I needed to. Do not know why that guy rolled back in. I guess he wanted to kill or something. But a very good start. I have a magic wand start. I think because I wasn't really sure what to buy is my excuse. But considering I was against a Pugna, I am not sold on that being the right move. I think this is a bit of a wrong decision. My other thought was that if I'm going to sap damage, I don't really care what my base damage is anyways. It's more like I want to make sure that I can win the lane, kind of. So if I can sap 20 damage from this guy, I then know that I'm going to be fine anyway. So I just got the wand to have generic stats. I think this is one of my earlier games from the new patch. And I'm just going to trade hits here with the Earth Spirit because I've already got bonus damage from the wand. But that's kind of hurtful. So against a Pugna, you kind of have a weird situation in the matchup. Because I can sap all of his damage and hit him very hard, but if he decreps himself or decreps me, then I can't attack. So I kind of have this mix of fighting where if he decrep ulties me, I'm probably going to die unless I can kill him first. There's the passive working out here. Targets a random nearby unit, makes a cool sound, has a little purple floating text, does 100 magic damage. I was hoping my passive would get the last hit here. You could also last hit with the passive by coming into range of something. Your attack range is 475 and the range of this is 350, so it's less than your attack range, if you're curious what it is. Can you play Razor support now? I just thought about that, but I feel like you could grab this skill, level 1, and play Razor support. Because that's 100 magic damage every 5 seconds. I bet I'm not wrong on this. You could certainly zone an offlaner. Like, you could grab this skill legitimately just to zone an offlane hero. It's probably not worth it, though, because it'd be hard for your hero to transition, but you could definitely zone an offlaner with this, as long as there's no creeps around. That seems really strong. For that purpose. Doesn't mean it's actually good. Yeah, he can still disarm me. The one negative, though, is that I can't actually nuke him back whenever he decrypts me directly, which is what would have happened with the previous passive. I also focused pretty heavily on this passive in this game, when I should have probably focused a little bit on both, like, more plasma field, probably. But if I remember correctly, I think I did a mix of both things. I also didn't get a bottle, the reason being because I didn't have plasma field, so I didn't feel the need to have a bottle. It just honestly wasn't really needed. But if I was playing this again, I would probably go some levels of plasma field just so I could contest last hits a little bit more. And push waves and things like that. Alright, let's check out my awful last hits. Not great. It is not great. I don't think I was expecting my unstable current in that moment. Got a second point here. 30 more whole damage for 1 skill point, but I also get 4% movement speed and extra slow duration, but ultimately, is that worth it? Probably not, actually. Certainly not in this case. I should have Plasma Field for the ability to harass my opponent, push lanes, etc. But I think if you watch the cooldown here, you can definitely play around it, no problem. I was hoping I would get the other one because I know I wasn't going to get the last hit. I really should have broken that guy's clarity like eons ago. That was kind of fun. Alright, finally got my bottle. Finally got 1 point in Plasma Field. Really don't like my skill build. Looking at the numbers again, I didn't think about it that much at the time, but the scaling of this is just atrocious. It's really just 4% movement speed for a skill point. And like 30 damage is so small. For a skill point, it's just not worth it. He has a DD here. But I can actually fight him on this because I know that I'm sapping damage. I think if I played that better, I could have killed him because I should have known that my unstable current was coming up. Oh, speaking of which, if that hits him, he loses his DD. If I would have ran towards the tower there, I almost certainly would have killed him, I feel like. Because it would have done him 130 damage. He would have been debuffed, and I would have had plus 100 damage to attack him for. And I could have bottled through the tower damage. And he couldn't even deal damage to me outside of using Nether Blast because I had sapped so much damage away from him. I think I certainly could have killed him there. So I'm rotating down here to try to get this kill, but unfortunately he decrypt TP'd. And now because I have a lot of like chase skills, I think, yeah, I remember getting 2 Plasma Field, but I think I grabbed my ultimate pretty soon afterwards. I honestly don't like this skill, the Plasma Field skill. I'm not a fan of it. I don't enjoy getting it, but you kind of have to, is the thing. You have to get it because if you don't, then you can't push waves. And you can't farm creeps really. Like, this skill is a big advantage towards pushing creeps now, because it's doing basically 20 magic damage per second if there's only 1 unit nearby. Oh, God, that was way too fast. I can tell you guys, spoiler alert, I'm about to be initiated on. Alright, static link this guy. Just need to get closer. Alright, he just got slowed. There's my ultimate. Now I need to run out of life drain range. So I messed up pretty bad on the bottom here. I definitely could have killed him before dying here. What I needed to do is I needed to wait for him to approach the high ground and then cast Static Link. And then wait a couple seconds, maybe dodge, if possible. Because if I sap like 40 damage from him, or if I sap like 10, 20 damage from him before he attacks at all, that means I save 20 HP, at least. And then by the time his second attack comes out, it's probably sat more like 50 damage, and I could easily get to the point where he was just out of the ability to deal damage to me. And if that's the case, then I get the triple kill. So I was sad. I got a little too excited. I felt like I could outplay them, but I played it badly. Picked up phase boots this game. I think because I wanted to have a kite advantage over heroes like Sven, and this way I can run away from a hero like Pugna more easily. Getting decrep, things like that. There's lots of good reasons. Is this slow movement attack speed too? Doesn't really say, but based on that creep, it kind of looks like it does slow movement speed, which is actually amazing. That means if you get the level 25 perk, you're perma slowing somebody 40%. If there's only you and one other guy. Some stuff going on down here, and since I've got a phase and a DD and a cloak, I feel pretty capable to take a fight. They should have seen me coming. I saw their ward over here, but I don't think they did. I used my ultimate really early here. I used the plasma field just to have a little bit better vision. So I really thought I was going to kill that guy, but my unstable current nuked him before he used wind run. So the issue is that it nuked him before he used wind run, but if it nuked him after he used wind run, then he would have instantly lost wind run, and I would have had a super easy kill. So that was kind of unfortunate. He basically ran away from me while I was waiting for my next ability to come off cooldown. So because I'm against a Pugna, I basically have to be really concerned about the amount of magic damage I take, because he'll not only amplify all the magic damage I take, but also be able to solo kill me because I don't have a stun to be able to interrupt him. So that's why I rushed a really fast hood here, because I basically needed the personal survivability. And that's part of the reason that I went for the health perk as well. It's because I went phase, my HP isn't that much better. I've got a wand and I'm going to have a hood, but if I put HP on top of having that, then that makes me even stronger. Like, by far, it's a huge advantage. So that's why I went for the HP perk. Looking back at it now, I think it's okay that I went health this game, because it's one of the games where they have magic nukes, and I'd rather just buy a hood. But in a lot of these situations, might have been better to do other. I could definitely get a kill here, I think. I think I tried to get in range of the unstable current. I was checking to see what the AoE was, but I feel like I could have maybe killed him there if I static linked him and then Eye of the Storm. There was certainly a chance. And right there, I think I should have turned as well. I think I was playing a little bit too safe here. This is slow. It's not bad. You can really see the big difference in survivability once I get the hood. Even like his decrep life drain just doesn't feel scary anymore. It's the difference of magic resistance against magic resistance reducers. case you guys don't know how that works out mathematically, it's pretty much like they, oh, I was so mad about this, dude. Oh my god, I was pissed. Especially because he said thanks. I even rage typed at him. No, I think I yelled at him verbally. I was like, you're a dick or something. I can't remember. I hate when people do that shit, though. It's like, we would have had 2 more bottle charges if you let me take it. So that's why I used the shrine, because I needed the regen anyways. But god, do I hate when people do that shit. Especially when they say thanks. It gets me going. Truly impressive last hitting for me so far. Yep, there's the health perk, 200 health. So for me to push, I basically have to just AoE. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. I could, Unstable Current would debuff the creeps when fortified, so I could still kill them. It's kind of fun. If I wanted to push better, having a Ring of Aquila would make a huge difference. It's one of the reasons my agility was so bad this game, is because I think I skipped Aquila entirely this game, surprisingly. Which is like, what, a 3.5 armor item, gives 2 armor to creeps. It's a huge advantage. Oh, I saw the Pugna moving this way, and he was low HP, so this felt like the easiest kill ever. So I'm just going to go over here and sit on the cliff. Let's see if he'll show up. I was a little bit worried about the neutral stealing my kill, but I felt pretty comfortable because of the amount of damage that I had sapped. I stole 90 damage, so his right click wasn't going to do anything, and as time went on, his armor gets lowered more and more. It was kind of a dangerous situation to be in for him. If I had my ultimate still, I certainly could have killed this guy. Or maybe if I had more points in Static Link over this many points in Unstable, would have made a huge difference. I should have used Hooded Defiance here. I think this is a kill. No, it actually wasn't. I died here, I think. Yeah. That was very close. If I did have Aquila there, I would have killed him 100%. If I had another point in Static Link or 2, I would have killed him. I feel like. But I also would have been slower, because then I wouldn't have had so many points of Unstable Current. Anyways, got my hood finished. So the dive still felt right, it's just I needed a little bit more disable to secure a little bit more chase or something. Or, I don't know, maybe my damage window needed to be better. Oh, I thought I was going to get stunned there. Pipe your friends. Another great hook. It's not the last of great hooks this game. Finished Unstable Current. I actually stole a really good damage. This is the weirdest, like, I actually couldn't get through. But just the 2 points, Static Link was actually quite useful, I found. This is kind of the point in the game where I'm thinking, like, I'm actually very survivable with the hood this game because there's so many magic nukes on the enemy team, but I actually really need armor. So I'm sitting on 6 armor. It's pretty pitiful. There it is, get that last hit. Hell yeah. I think the Dusa had one, so that made a little bit of a difference, at least. Kind of overpushed a little bit, so it's time to back and go to split push. Bounty runes, I think. Nope. So now I'm basically thinking, where do I go next with my items? And this is like the first time in pretty much forever that I've ever sat and thought, like, I think Radiance is the Razor item. Radiance makes a lot of sense because as Razor you stand next to people and chase them and stuff, and you'd think like, oh yeah, Radiance is the move because I'm going to be chasing them, so I might as well do more damage just by standing there, right? But almost always, the problem is that it doesn't offer enough survivability, kind of. Like, what it provides, that asshole, he tried to do it again. What it doesn't provide is, it doesn't integrate perfectly with the skills. Like, yes, you chase people as a Razor, but dealing extra magic damage was never, like, Razor's idea. Like, this lowers the increase the physical damage you deal to them. But once the Unstable Current was integrated, I kind of felt like Radiance was more reasonable, because this already increases the damage you do farming, so if you had a Radiance on top of that, you just farm really fast, basically. That's what I thought. I don't have that much mana here. I did get a nice pipe off, though. But I'm kind of being careful about how I play the fight, because I'm lacking mana now. To worry about the Nether Ward as well. That was really nice. That was cool. I got 2 kills. Yeah, this was actually quite useful, I must say. Felt really good. I mean, even 190 damage is not bad for level 4. I mean, it's significantly less than 200, but you know, considering it's free, you don't have to spend mana on it, you just have to stand near people. I thought that was pretty cool. So now, because my movement speed overall kind of sucked, I felt super justified going the 4% unstable current movement speed to help make up for the fact that my agility wasn't low and I wasn't really prioritizing agility items. I also felt like if this game wasn't going so well, this whole Radiance Rush thing wouldn't feel very safe either, which is kind of a damn fact. Because normally if you're at this position, you've only spent 3,500 gold on an item for Razor. Like every item on Razor usually feels really important. So maybe this game was a little bit of a... Their damage types were like way too one-dimensional, and that's why it felt simple that I could easily transition to the Radiance. Not to mention that I have like a buttload of kills, but it was a nice feeling like I could transition safely. And that I think a lot of that is credit should go to the pipe. It's just a really good pipe game. It's all magic damage, almost exclusively magic damage until later, exclusively magic damage. Early game, magic damage with a lot of physical, and this guy's like heavily magic damage. Pretty much all stages of the game. So now I can actually finish Relic and then transition, and I've already got a health perk and extra movement speed. It kind of covers everything I need. And then I can get armor at 20, which is something I did this game as well. Yeah, but one of the reasons Radiance doesn't stack great with Razor, it does magic damage, and it increases your raw damage right-clicking, which, again, isn't really what Razor wants. Razor wants technically attack speed, generic stats, movement speed, stuff like that. But raw right-click damage, you can get that from a better static link, basically. So that's why static link just doesn't... That's why Radiance doesn't really make the most sense on the hero. Also, it's going to free up my ability to farm super fast. I won't have to use Plasma Field to farm, which is going to free up some mana. And certainly increase my overall farm speed. I just feel like it synergizes well with Unstable Current, I guess. Because I can better keep my opponents close to me and away from me at the same vein, which wasn't really possible before. Kind of hoping that somebody comes up to the creep wave. A nice dismember by the Purge ends up canceling the leap. I was really hoping this guy wouldn't hook me. And thankfully he did not. This was a little bit rough because I didn't have full mana. So it wasn't really a fight that I wanted to take. I think an Eggs build might work really well, though. I could see that working quite good. Oh yeah, I was going to calculate the DPS, wasn't I? So, what is it, 40 times 0.07 or something? Is that divided by? Yeah, I think so. So your ultimate level 1 does... There's no way that's right. I certainly mistyped. Oh, I see, I put an extra decimal. So it does 57.1 DPS physical. Not to mention that it increases your damage by... What is it? 5%? God, I can't remember the changes. It's like 5% or something per hit, which is kind of cool. Let's calculate around the level 3 one. Level 3 does 140 DPS physical. That's actually huge. I feel like part of the problem is those numbers look so boring. It's like hard to think like, oh, is that actually good? I don't know. Level 2 does 91. So it goes from like 54 to 91 to, what was it, 140? Yeah, 140 at level 3. And then if you get an axe, it goes down. So then it goes 70 divided by 0.4. As you can see, I'm farming creeps. So that goes from 140 to 175. That's 35 extra DPS by getting ags. And by getting the Eye of the Storm interval. So, yeah, 35 DPS on Eye of the Storm with the level 20 perk. And if you combine them, we're at 175 now. 70 divided by 0.3. 233. That's huge. That's like 60 if you get both. I have Radiance at this point. I really wanted this kill, if it wasn't clear. At this point I realized that he was perhaps too far away. This would have been one of those moments where armor was nice. I tried to rely on Radiance. The issue is that I got too far away from the Pugna. If I stayed closer to him the whole time, I would have been fine. What I probably shouldn't have been doing was attacking. I think I attacked once or twice, but sometimes that makes all the difference. So yeah, you can get a buttload of damage if you get Ags in the interval thing. And I bet that if you go Refresher Orb, that Ags Refresher on Razor is probably insane right now. Genuinely. That was a kind of a meme build that people used to do in the past. I bet it's real good right now because of the new perk. But I feel like Ags is probably fine by itself. That seems like it'll be really effective. I think movement speed stacking is probably unnecessary on the hero right now. This is where I bought my first plate mail. Oh god, I remember this moment. I forgot to put the plate mail in my inventory because I wanted to go get runes. I remember that. Is armor important, guys? It's important. I guarantee that if I had a plate mail, I would have made it over here to bottle twice. 100% guaranteed. I was very sad. I moved it in the wrong spot, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Okay. And she killed everybody anyway, so it was fine. Except for the whole I messed up part. And then I grabbed the plus 10 armor perk, because then I felt like I was unkillable. Even though my HP's not the best, I'm kind of concerned about my health points right here. I think I ended up buying the Shivas anyways, because it gave me more AoE, which would then allow Unstable Current to hit more heroes rather than non-heroes. But got my pipe done now. His Mask of Madness got removed instantly by this. Removed his Mask of Madness. Can remove his War Cry. It's actually pretty good against Sven, I think. But it all depends who initiates on who, I think. That's kind of what changes stuff. Should always use Static Field and nuke 2 neutral camps if possible. Because you can easily pull one into the other when you cast it. This is regular speed. I keep trying to like walk in to let Unstable Current do damage. I was very pleased when I got healed. I knew Pudge was very dead, but I don't think I cared very much. White man is pretty good, right? Oh, I didn't even see that guy was so low. I could have easily killed him if I walked forward. I saw it this time, but in the game I was running for my life. Panic running, dude. Well, that's a mistake. I knew I'd get some bounties here, so prep the runes, man. I actually really like having bottled this game. It's so much better now. Luckily, it stayed attached for quite a while. I actually don't remember where this guy went. Oh wait, that's right. And then he used the nuke there. Oh god, did I really... I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to dive again. I was disappointed he got all the last hits there. I mean, my armor's not bad anymore. I'm still really missing agility though. I guess if I didn't go an HP perk though, I would have definitely had to buy HP a little bit earlier though, in this game. 35 damage for the push. Reason I sold the TP scroll is because if it's in your backpack when it's on cooldown, then you, the cooldown goes at half. I was thinking about selling my bottle here. They were all kind of running at me, so it was time to run away. I think watching this now I would have ran in the back, but it's kind of dangerous to do so. Use my ultimate. Fortunately, I was pretty out of mana here. It's actually such an easy kill. And Shiva's is just a pretty natural item on Razor. It might not make sense because you might think, why wouldn't I get an AC? Because AC allows my Eye of the Storm to do more. And that does make sense, but almost always Shiva's is the first pickup. Because it kind of covers kind of what I did with Radiance this game, which is just doing AoE damage. Because if I use the active, it slows people for 40% for 4 seconds, which nukes the creep wave, kills the creep wave, in addition to Plasma Field. Basically the two skills together, the skill and the item together, clear the creep wave. And then you can also use... the Shivas also reduces their attack speed, so it's like a more defensive item than the ultimate, or than AC. So that's basically the game. Kind of just snowballed over them. I had a lot of really good fights. I have the highest net worth just from killing, basically. I didn't feel great about this itemization. I think looking at it now, I kind of feel like skipping Radiance myself. Don't know if the Radiance is really that needed. I kind of feel like I should just stay within my hero's realm. Now with the Unstable Current, I feel like my overall farm speed is quite a bit better than it used to be. And I feel like if I do something like get Ags, then it'll also make my Eye of the Storm better, which also increases my farm speed. Kind of like as a contributing factor to make the hero better. This is where I buy items because I like items. Oh, and I forgot to stash it. Oh, I was so sad actually. Forgot to stash my Lincolns. Does anybody look at my finalized items? Hell no, but I like doing it. Alright, that's Razor. He's fun. I think he's different enough. He has more itemization options now because you have a passive that just raw does damage now, so you don't have to be as reliant on just farming in the ways of like Shivas and Plasma Field and